Hello everyone, thanks so much for logging on to CBSDenver.com. Alongside Romy Bean, I am Michael Spencer inside the Broncos locker room after a 19-17 loss to the Houston Texans. And Romy, of course, the big story heading into the game was Demaryius Thomas, traded earlier in the week to Houston, played his first game as a Texan back here at Mile High after spending 8.5 years with the Broncos, the franchise that drafted him. You had a chance to talk to DT and a bunch of his Texans teammates after the game.
Well, you could tell Demaryius was really emotional. His eyes were welled with tears, like he probably had been crying before. But of course, Demaryius, being the great guy he is, trying to kind of push it off. No, I'm here for the Texans and make it not about him. But you could tell that this was just so flooded with emotions. I mean, he ran off as soon as the game was over. I think he did say relieved that all this is over. And I think it's a kind of a relief for Broncos country, too, that, okay, now they can move on.
Feels like now they can move past that. Unfortunately, a disappointing ending to the game for Broncos country as the Broncos fall 19-17. Brandon McManus missed a 51-yard field goal that would have been the game winner as time expired. In talking to the Broncos players, they all have Brandon McManus's back, which we would expect them to have. This is a guy who is very well liked in the locker room. We talked to Jeff Hireman, who had a career day, 10 receptions, 83 yards, and a touchdown. He said, look, given that situation, I would take Brandon McManus 10 times out of 10. There is no doubt about it. Unfortunately, that kick just went right after the game. McManus was straight up. He said, look, that's on me. The two that I missed today were absolutely terrible kicks. He put it right on himself. And now the Broncos find themselves in a situation where they're 3-6 heading into the bye week. And Romy, it's a disappointing feeling going into the bye after a loss, especially after this type of loss.
Well, and especially now when you just want to get one win before the bye week, right? Just so you can recover, get better, but you have somewhere to go. And they were so close on this one, which I think almost can be a little bit more disheartening because they were so close. And, Brandon McManus taking it all on himself, but it's not all on himself. I think a lot of this goes on the play calling, on the coaching, the decision to go for a 62-yarder at the end of the first half, which the Texans ended up scoring and essentially got the win from that. So I don't think it's all on him. I think there's a lot this team has to go back now, and who's here tomorrow?
Yeah,
could be different people.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what the Broncos do. Obviously, Vance Joseph going to be lots of questions about his future as the Broncos move forward. They got the bye next week, and then they will pay a visit to the Los Angeles Chargers 2 weeks from Sunday. That's going to do it for us in the Broncos locker room. Thanks so much for logging on to CBSDenver.com.